Of any evidence right now that confirms that they were in fact doing intelligence collection by another government. But again, don't have the debris. We're still doing the best we can with the observations that were made by the pilots, with the flight profile data that we have tried to collect.
They're in very difficult terrain. The one off the coast of Alaska is that's up in some really difficult terrain in the Arctic Circle. The second one is in the Canadian Rockies and Yukon. Very difficult to get that one. And the third one is in Lake Huron at probably a couple hundred feet depth. So we'll get them eventually, but it's going to take some time to recover those.
Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley. Before that, National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby speaking yesterday about the three unidentified objects that flew in North American airspace last weekend. The leading theory in the intelligence community is that the objects were in the air for commercial or research purposes, but because the United States has not been able to recover debris from those three sites yet, the defense leaders say it is too early to confirm that theory or to assign blame to any other country. Pentagon officials also briefed senators yesterday. Afterward, most lawmakers expressed an understanding that getting the whole truth about what happened last weekend will take some time.
I went into the hearing with the impression that 2 weeks ago our skies were clear. And then all of a sudden, we had spy balloons and other identified objects raining down on us like confetti. That's not accurate. This has been going on for a long time.
There's a number of unanswered questions that it's reasonable they're unanswered. We didn't build complex and expensive radar systems to pick up slow-moving balloons.
I wasn't unnerved by anything that I heard. I don't think we're being attacked by aliens.
Okay, thank God. With us now, Democratic Senator Jon Tester of Montana. He serves on the Senate Appropriations Committee and is chairman of the Defense Appropriations Subcommittee. His state has been at the center of the recent aerial activity, both this past weekend and earlier in the month when a suspected Chinese spy balloon entered the country over Montana, probably hovering over your farm for a little bit. Senator, what in the hell is going on up there?
Well, that's the question, for sure.
Any answers? Are we getting any answers? Is the military still trying to figure this out?
I think the military is still in the recovery process, as Milley said yesterday, and until they get it recovered, all of them.
Right.
The first one that came through that floated through and went out, South Carolina, they're well in process of getting that all recovered and getting it put back together. So we'll get some good information on that. The other three are still in the process of recovery, so it's going to be a while before we know where they came from and what their purpose was.
Well, you have some Republicans going, saying, we need answers. Joe Biden must go on television and speak before a national audience and give us answers. I don't know. You guys don't have answers yet, do you? They shot a Yugo out of the sky or something, or whatever it was at 20,000 feet. We don't know what it is yet, do we?
I think the worst thing that could happen is speculation. And if our military is speculating, which they don't do, by the way, that's really bad. And the other thing that's really bad is, especially with the first spy balloon that came over, the one that was as big as buses and things like that, is that she was looking for information, obviously. And I think he was also looking for political reaction. Right. And, our national security has always stopped at our border shores. We have never played politics with it to much of an extent. And for those folks who want to play politics with this, I would say, we're playing with live ammo here. We shouldn't be doing it.
What about your colleagues that sit on haystacks and point AR-15s at the sky? When we actually do have a serious issue going on here, even if it's not that serious in the end militarily, at least diplomatically, we had a meeting with the Secretary of State and President Xi canceled because of it.
No, that's correct. And communication amongst powerful countries is always very, very important because mistakes can happen. And if you're not communicating and talking about a mistake when it happens, then it turns into a full-blown escalation. And so it's really important that communication occurs between our countries, and it's not in good shape right now, for sure.
Senator, my impression, and actually I've heard from sources that we're now looking for these kinds of objects in a way that we weren't before.
That's correct.
Because our radars were looking for, ICBMs that were coming really fast across the North Pole. Now we're looking for balloons. As we find them, are we going to continue to shoot them down? Or is there going to be a tempering of this sort of reaction? What have you heard?
Well, look, I think that speaks to the issue. And the issue is we don't have a firm plan on how to deal with this stuff yet. I don't believe. At least I haven't heard one if there is a plan. I think we need to develop a plan on how to deal with them, how to identify them, how to bring them down without using a $400,000 missile against them. And I will tell you that I think the military is working hard on top of this, and I think there will be a plan. The reason Susan Collins and myself are going to be working hard to find out what's going on here is because we oversee the defense budget. And we have talked several times on this issue. We both agree that the military needs to have a plan. We need to fund it. And we're going to demand a plan, and we're going to make sure it's funded, and we're going to make sure we deal with these balloons in a more common sense way. Let's just put it that way. So we know what we're working on so that we can bring them down in a way that is much more cost effective.
Senator, I understand that obviously the White House felt that it was under pressure for having underreacted it the first time around and not projecting strength. But in a sense, to our adversaries around the world, the kind of reaction that followed that projects a certain amount of chaos and overreaction to political pressures, doesn't it?
Well, like I said, I think you can't play politics with our national defense. The first balloon that came over was a very serious matter, and the next three maybe too. It depends what information we find out. But to play politics, to try to elevate yourself at the expense of somebody else, the Chinese are looking at that and going, "Wow, this is an avenue where we can make some, make some hay."
Float a balloon over Montana, and suddenly you've got Republicans trashing the commander-in-chief. Pretty good win for China.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep, that's correct. And so I think it's really important that, and Joe led off with this, we need to make sure we have information that's good information. And then, look, we should release to the public unless there's some reason not to. Public should know. People are concerned. We should let them know.
We talked about the relationship with China. The White House was feeling kind of good, and the administration was feeling pretty good after President Biden met with Xi last year. That has obviously changed a little bit. I spoke with Vice President Harris yesterday, and she said she's not worried that this kind of dust-up is going to really impact negatively the relationship between the two countries. Is she right? Do you have concerns about how diplomatically this is going to shake out for countries that are already adversaries at some point?
So, look, I think it's good that they have optimism for the future, because I think that's important. But the fact that the Chinese opposite of Secretary Austin would not take his call, and the same thing's true with General Milley, I don't think is a particularly good sign. Can that change? Will that change? I certainly hope it does. Otherwise, we're going to have to find different avenues to communicate with the Chinese.
All right, Senator Jon Tester, thank you so much. Good luck. Good luck keeping the secrets of your farming practices secret from China, Russia, and all other foreign adversaries. It's great to see you.
Good to see you guys. Thank you for having me.